What if I told you that the absolute best secret to finding your perfect romantic partner isn't about trying to make everyone like you, but actually trying to make most people actively dislike you?
I mean, it sounds totally counterintuitive to
Bye-bye.
like you're just setting yourself up to fail.
Exactly. But what if the key to dating success is actually embracing rejection as your best friend?
Yeah, sprinting toward it even.
Right. So, welcome to the deep dive. Today we are unpacking a wildly influential book from 2011. It's called Models Attract Women Through Honesty by Mark Manson.
And you probably know Manson from, well, his massive bestseller, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Feck.
Oh, for sure. But Models is where a huge chunk of his core philosophy actually started.
It really is the foundation for everything he wrote later.
Yeah. And we've got a giant stack of sources for you today. We're looking at book summaries, some really deep dive reviews, a bunch of fiery Reddit debates, and some articles written by Manson himself.
There's a lot to get through.
There is. Because our mission today is to figure out why this specific book is widely considered the Joe Oat, like the greatest of all time of men's dating advice.
Right, because it basically single-handedly disrupted that whole manipulative pickup artist, or PUA, industry.
Yeah, early 2000s stuff, it proved that radical honesty, vulnerability, and just non-neediness are the real foundations of attraction.
And how those lessons can completely transform how you navigate relationships in your own life.
Absolutely. But, okay, before we can talk about how to attract people, we kind of have to talk about what actively repels them, right?
Yeah, we have to look at the enemy here.
Right, which Manson calls neediness.
Yeah.
So how does he define that? Because it's not just, texting someone 14 times.
No, it's way deeper than just being clingy. Manson's central thesis is that a person's attractiveness is inversely proportional to how needy they are.
Okay, so the needier you are, the less attractive you are.
Exactly. And he defines neediness as well. It occurs anytime you place a higher priority on what others think of you than what you think of yourself.
Oh, wow, so it's about external validation.
Right. It's when your primary motivation is just to win approval. So, altering your behavior, lying about your hobbies, playing the quote-unquote nice guy.
Just to get a specific reaction out of someone.
Yeah, exactly. Because all of those behaviors are outcome dependent, which means they're actually a subtle form of manipulation.
Right, because you're handing them a fake version of yourself. It's like the difference between a desperate salesman who desperately needs the commission to pay his rent versus a founder who truly believes in their product.
That is a perfect analogy.
You can just smell the desperation on that first guy, right? No matter what script he uses.
Oh, totally. People can instinctively feel that you want something from them, rather than wanting to share something with them.
So there's this case study in the sources from the book that I thought was fascinating. The popular college guy.
Oh, yeah. This illustrates it perfectly. So imagine this highly sociable, attractive guy in college. He's living on his own terms, doing his own thing,
Everyone loves him.
right? But then he graduates, settles down into a serious relationship, and gets worn down by the 9-to-5 grind.
He just stops trying.
Kind of.
Mm.
He stops investing in his own personal growth.
Mhm.
And instead, he pours his entire identity, all his psychological weight, into his relationship.
He needs the relationship to validate him,
Exactly. And slowly, his girlfriend starts to lose attraction to him.
even though his physical appearance didn't change at all.
Right? His physical appearance is exactly the same, but his internal focus completely shifted. He prioritized her perception of him over his own self-worth.
Which is the definition of neediness. So what's the antidote if you're stuck in that desperate salesman mode?
The sources all agree here. The only real dating advice is self-improvement.
Seriously, just work on yourself.
Yeah, you have to build a life you actually enjoy. Because if you don't respect yourself, you're always going to be looking for a partner to do that emotional heavy lifting for you.
And people can sense that burden from a mile away. Okay, so if neediness is the disease, the sources point to a very unexpected cure.
Very unexpected. Vulnerability.
Right, which is wild because men in particular are traditionally taught to, hide their emotions.
The whole stoic, never show weakness thing, yeah.
Yeah. But Manson argues vulnerability is actually a super deep, subtle form of power and high status.
But we have to clarify what he means by vulnerability, because it's not what most people think.
Right, it's not just crying in a support group.
No. Or trauma dumping on a first date. Please don't do that.
Yeah, no, definitely don't do that.
Manson defines it as putting yourself on the line emotionally without inhibitions.
Okay.
It means asserting a clear opinion or setting a firm boundary or just looking at someone and saying you're attracted to them.
But wait, doesn't telling someone exactly how you feel give them, like, all the power? I mean,
Right.
if you just show your cards, aren't you just asking to get crushed?
It only gives them power if your vulnerability is conditional.
Conditional. What do you mean?
Like, if you're only opening up because you expect them to like you in return, that's just neediness wearing a vulnerability mask.
Oh, wow.
True vulnerability is unconditional. You're expressing yourself, and you are totally fine with whatever their reaction is.
So you're unattached to the outcome.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this completely solves what the book calls the investment paradox.
Right, the investment paradox. I saw that in the notes. It's like this frustrating catch-22.
Yeah, because normally, showing a woman you desire her makes you look overly invested,
Which reads as needy.
which kills the attraction.
Right, so how does vulnerability fix that?
By showing intense desire while simultaneously showing you are completely comfortable with being rejected.
Oh, that makes sense.
It short-circuits the paradox. You're showing desire without any of the neediness, which is incredibly magnetic.
You're basically saying, I want you, but I don't need you to survive.
Exactly. And because true vulnerability forces you to show your actual authentic self, it naturally triggers a very specific reaction from the world.
Which brings us back to that crazy hook at the start, polarization.
Yes. Manson argues that everything that is attractive is polarizing.
Because if you just try to be universally liked by everyone, you become completely bland. You turn yourself into elevator music.
That's a great way to put it. Nobody hates elevator music, but nobody loves it either.
Right. So Manson categorizes women, or just people you encounter, into 3 groups, right?
Right. Receptive, neutral, and unreceptive.
Okay. So receptive people already like you, and unreceptive people just never will.
Right, no matter what you do.
Yeah.
But the vast majority of people fall into that middle category, neutral.
They're on the fence about you.
Exactly. And the entire goal of polarization is to force those neutral people to
Yeah.
make a decision.
You want to force them off the fence.
Yes. You want them to either become receptive or unreceptive.
Which means you are actively inviting rejection.
You have to. Most men fear rejection because they operate on other people's truths. But rejection is actually a fantastic filter.
Because you're naturally going to be incompatible with, like, the vast majority of the human population.
Exactly. Rejection saves you time. It gets you out of the gray area.
And this naturally leads to one of his most famous concepts, right? The law of fuck yes or no.
Yes, from his related articles. It's such a brilliant rule.
So redefining success here means it's not about getting the highest number of phone numbers.
Not at all.
Success is actually about failing as fast as possible to weed out the bad fits.
Yes. The law of fuck yes or no states that in dating, both parties must be a fuck yes about each other.
Meaning if you're super into someone, but they're just a meh, maybe, about you.
Then it's a fuck no. You just walk away.
Wow. That clears up so much confusion. No more overanalyzing text messages.
Right. An attractive, non-needy person doesn't have the time to convince someone to like them.
Okay, so these mindsets are amazing, but how does a person actually execute this in the real world? Like, if I'm listening to this, what do I actually do?
The book outlines 3 actionable fundamentals. The first one is honest living, which is all about your lifestyle.
Okay, lifestyle. The sources talk a lot about demographics here.
Yeah, the basic rule of like attracts like. You have to physically put yourself in social circles you actually enjoy.
So if you're an introvert who loves books, don't go to a loud nightclub at 2 a.m. to meet someone.
Exactly. But he goes a step further. Don't just join a group, be a leader in it.
Right, the Frisbee example.
Yeah, if you like ultimate frisbee, don't just show up to play. Organize the tournament.
Because that builds natural social proof in a circle you genuinely care about.
Exactly. Also under honest living are the 2 F's, fitness and fashion.
Right, you can't ignore the physical stuff.
You can't. Manson is very pragmatic here. Wearing clothes that actually fit your body and lifting weights yield the fastest, most noticeable results.
It just shows you respect yourself.
Exactly. Which brings us to the second fundamental, honest action.
This one is huge. This is about overcoming the fear of actually talking to people, right?
Yeah, overcoming fear through incremental exposure.
Because if you have severe social anxiety, you can't just walk up to a supermodel. You'll literally melt down.
Right, your brain's threat response will go crazy. So you start extremely small.
Like just asking strangers for the time.
Yes, exactly. You ask 10 strangers for the time. By the 10th person, your brain realizes you aren't going to die.
And then you step it up. You ask how their day is going. You build that neurological courage.
Exactly. Until approaching someone you actually find attractive isn't a massive traumatic event.
Okay, so you approach them. You don't panic. Then what? That's the third fundamental, right? Honest communication.
Yes, and the key here is that your intentions matter infinitely more than the actual words you use.
Right, because if you use some perfectly rehearsed line, but your intention is just to get them to validate you,
They will feel that neediness, and it will come off as creepy.
the sources are really clear on the difference between creepiness and flirting.
Yeah, this is so important. Creepiness is basically any behavior that makes a woman feel sexually insecure or unsafe.
Like hiding your true intentions behind a fake, nice persona.
Exactly. Flirting, on the other hand, is owning your desire openly, but in a way that makes her feel secure.
Because there's no pressure or obligation attached to it.
Right. You're unconditionally vulnerable.
There's also this specific conversation tactic he recommends, cold reading.
Oh, yes. Using statements instead of questions.
So instead of interviewing them like, where are you from, you just make an intuitive guess.
Right. You say, you look like a California girl.
And why does that work so much better?
Because it creates an instant narrative. If you're right, they're amazed. If you're wrong, they passionately correct you.
Either way, they're engaged in a real conversation, not a job interview.
Exactly. And speaking of job interviews, that perfectly explains his rules for date logistics.
Yes. Never do lunch dates or movie dates.
Never.
Movies mean you can't even talk to each other. And staring at someone across a dinner table is basically an interrogation.
Right. So he suggests evening dates, like 6 to 9 p.m., where you string together 2 to 4 interactive activities.
Like hitting a comedy club, then walking to a museum, then getting ice cream.
Exactly. Moving environments naturally breaks down defensive barriers.
It sounds like he wants you to skip the stiff evaluation phase and just jump straight into the, let's see how we play together in the sandbox phase.
That's a really good way to visualize it. Your teammates experiencing the world, not judges evaluating each other.
Okay, so all of this sounds incredible in theory, but we have to look at the reality check section from our sources.
Yeah, the Reddit reviews definitely have some strong critiques.
Because the book is revered,
Yeah.
but there is some serious real-world friction. The biggest one they point out is the how-to gap.
Right. Reviewers point out that Manson tells you what mindset you need, deep self-worth, but he doesn't really give a roadmap on how to get it if you're starting from zero.
Yeah, if you have deep trauma or clinical depression, just reading about radical honesty isn't going to magically fix your self-esteem overnight.
It takes actual therapy and time. It's not a quick fix.
And the other massive reality check is the timeline. The book was written in 2011.
Right. Pre-dating apps.
Tinder didn't even exist yet. And the book has this very idealistic tone. Like, he claims she is secretly rooting for you.
Which reviewers say feels incredibly naive in today's dating market.
Yeah, today's app-driven world is hyper-competitive. Men face immense initial friction before they even get to say hello.
The sheer volume of choice has made people much quicker to dismiss potential partners over tiny things.
So that idealism clashes hard with getting swiped left on 100 times in a row.
It does, though honestly, having a foundation of non-neediness is probably the only way to survive the modern dating apps without losing your mind.
That's very true. Now, is this advice genuinely safe for everyone?
That's a great question.
Because one reviewer pointed out that being wildly polarizing might work great for a guy living in, like, Chicago or New York.
Where there's endless anonymity.
Right. But what if you live in a tight-knit conservative community of 2,000 people?
Yeah, if you aggressively polarize everyone there, you're going to face severe social consequences.
You could get totally ostracized. Does one size really fit all here?
No, it requires serious calibration. Readers outside of big cities really have to filter this philosophy through their own local reality.
You can't just burn through your social capital if you can't just walk to a new neighborhood.
Exactly.
Also, we have to talk about the cringe factor.
Oh man, the dirty talk section.
Yes. Multiple sources completely ripped apart the specific sex advice and dirty talk scripts he includes in the book.
It's universally agreed to be terrible. It's awkward, it's unnatural, and everyone says you should just completely ignore that chapter.
Which is so funny to me because the whole book is about not using scripted lines.
I know, it's a bizarre contradiction.
But when you zoom out and contrast models with the typical pickup artist communities of that era,
Like RSD and those groups?
yeah, those groups taught men to fake high status or use negs to insult women to lower their self-esteem. It was all about getting validation.
It was pure neediness masked as arrogance.
Exactly. And Models is the anti-PUA book. It warns that if you fake it, your underlying neediness will always eventually shine through.
The mask always slips. You can't fake emotional health.
Right. And I think that's the perfect way to summarize all this. Models disguised itself as a dating manual, but it's really a masterclass in emotional health.
It absolutely is. It's about self-respect and setting boundaries.
And the lessons here, they apply directly to you, whether you're single, married, or honestly, just trying to navigate a tricky situation at your workplace.
Build a lifestyle you love and stop altering your personality just for approval.
Yes, communicate your intentions honestly.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over that builds on everything we've talked about.
Oh, I like this.
We've talked about the law of fuck yes or no, strictly in terms of romance today, but take a look at the rest of your life.
That is a great point.
Are you staying in maybe job out of pure neediness? Are you terrified of the rejection that might come with trying to change careers?
Or holding on to, maybe friendships just because you're afraid to be alone.
Exactly. What would actually happen if you demanded a fuck yes from your own life? It might just be the absolute best secret to setting yourself free.